So I finally got the Terron Armstead contract details. I don't know why I took a pause in between contract and details. And a new rule, overtime rule, has been approved. So we're going to talk about that today because there's a good amount of stuff to talk about. So let's jump into this. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, like I said, I got the Terron Armstead contract details. Wait till you hear this contract details. I'm going to give you some cap space updates, where we're sitting at with the cap space, all that good stuff. But first, let's jump into the new overtime rules. So let me minimize myself. That's not me. That's me. There I go. So the NFL owners have passed the Indy/Philly overtime rule proposed, allowing for both teams to have a possession for playoffs only. So they started with just the playoffs. So in a nutshell, both teams get a possession in overtime. That's my reaction to this. The final vote was 29-3. Three teams that said no were the Bengals, the Dolphins, and I don't remember who the third one was. It might have been the Cowboys. Was trending towards being tabled until the compromise to make it postseason, only for now, was struck. So making it just postseason is what teams are like. All right, fine. We'll allow it. We'll agree on it. My thought process on the new overtime rules: each team gets at least one possession. Let's take, for example, where this all, stemmed from this season, because it's been ongoing talks and negotiations for a while. The Chiefs Buffalo Bills game. No one could stop each other's offense, right? The Buffalo Bills had 13 seconds to stop the Chiefs, and their defense was so garbage they could not stop the Chiefs in 13 seconds, allowing them to march down the field and kick a field goal to force overtime, right? So say that now we have this new overtime rule. Chiefs get the ball first, they march down the field, they score. Bills get the ball then, they march down the field, they score. Chiefs then get the ball back, they march down the field, they score, the Chiefs win. What does it matter? You're just wasting more time. You're wasting another drive that doesn't need to be there. If the defense can't stop them, then it's a team sport. All three facets of the game are played. I didn't hate the overtime rules, right? I like that they changed them from a field goal wins the game. It makes it harder. But if your defense cannot stop them from marching down the field and scoring a touchdown, then maybe you're not supposed to win. Look at the Bengals-Chiefs game. They stopped them. And the Bengals won the game on a field goal. So we'll see how this pans out. I don't think it'll make the overtime longer. If it went to college football rules, then yeah, we'd probably still be waiting on the Chiefs and Bills to finish their game. But we'll see. There was a proposed rule that I did like a lot. I think the Ravens proposed this one where, so say, I'll use the Chiefs-Bills scenario. The Chiefs march down the field, score a touchdown. If they just kick an extra point, the Bills get a chance. If they go for two and get it, then the game's over. I like that more than both teams get a shot, because again, if neither team's defense is able to stop each other, you're just wasting more time until the other team gets the possession and wins the game. I like the proposed, you go for two, you win. If you don't go for two, then it continues going. So essentially the Chiefs would march down the field, score a touchdown. They go for two, they win the game. Game over. They miss the 2-point conversion, then the Bills have a chance to just march down the field, kick the extra point, win the game. I like that one better, but we'll see how all that pans out. And then there are more, I'm blocking it over here. So by Indy and Philly, amend Rule 16 to allow both teams opportunity to possess the ball in overtime in the postseason. By committee, makes permanent the free kick formation change implemented during the 2021 season that establishes a maximum number of players in the setup zone. It's just safety when it comes to that. An approved 2020 resolution summary by Baltimore, Buffalo, Philly, and Tampa. Amend anti-tampering policies in regards to secondary football executive positions to allow the employer club the choice to retain its player personal staff through the annual selection meeting. After the selection meeting through June 30th, the employer club is required to grant permission for another club to interview and hire a non-high-level executive or 9th secondary football executive for a secondary football position. Essentially, you can't steal the lower down people until June 30th. That's all that's saying. So the free kick rule formation is still in effect. Can't steal lower down people. And then obviously the onside kick. But let's look at the cap space. Make myself a little bit bigger so you can see my ugly mug. Right now, the Dolphins are sitting at $11.2 million in cap space. It's not too bad. If you look at where they rank, they are about 18th with $11.2 million. The most right now is the Panthers, sitting at $31 million. And then if we look at 2023, next year, the Chicago Bears are going to have $128 million. Jeez Louise. The Miami Dolphins are going to have negative 12 million. You got to do something about that, Miami. That ain't good. Miami's going to be in cap hell next year. But they're trying to win now. So right now they're sitting at, and this is carrying over 11 million. Jeez Louise. But again, there are still moves that they could do. I'll show you again the play. So they restructured Clayton Fedulum. I had them cutting him, so that didn't happen. Byron got restructured. Again, he's only about a $5 million cap hit. Who was the other guys I wanted to release? Sathan Carter. Adam Shaheen. Clayton Fedulum, there's no point anymore. He's making only about $2 million. He already restructured. Greg Little. So that saves up about $5 million. So we'd be at about 16. But next year, you know why? Let's look at next year's. And let's see who... Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see who's taking the biggest cap hits in 2023. It's Tyreek Hill. He's going to be $31 million. Terron Armstead, again, we're going to look at his. Byron Jones, $18 million. Emmanuel Ogbah, $17 million. Xavier Howard, $15 million. Christian Wilkins, if he gets franchise tag, that's $10 million. Jerome Baker, $11 million, but cap savings of $5 million. Devontae Parker, $9 million. Tua is going to go up to 9. So the biggest hits are right here. You got to figure out what you want to do. But let's look at Terron Armstead's contract, finally. So he signed a 5-year, $75 million. Average salary about $15 million. Guaranteed at signing was $36 million. Total guarantee, $43 million. So his first year here, he's only making $3 million this year. He's only making $3 million this year. Next year, he's going to go up to 20, and then the year after be down to 16. So again, this is where he gets where people thought he was going to get, and then after that, they can release him and save about $12 million. So it's a 3-year contract essentially. Again, you see the 5-year, you think 70, average 15. No, you look at the guaranteed, and you look at how it's structured. That's why I was waiting for this to see how it's structured. Now, there is game bonuses. A roster bonus of $1 million while carrying the cap. So essentially, I know on Twitter somebody was talking about it. Let me go find the tweet. Here it is. Field Yates. Terron Armstead's contract is a signing bonus of $12 million. Salary, again, $1.2 million, 9, 13. 13.35, 12. Per game bonuses $1 million annually. So he gets $1 million per game he plays. And that's why it's 5 years up to 87.5 maximum. Because he gets $1 million a game, which is more incentive for him to play the games. 2023 roster bonus $8 million. 2026 roster bonus $1 million. Incentive $2.5 million a year in incentives. So he can make a lot of money by staying healthy and being on the field. So that's a big chunk of what he could get possibly. So again, you can see it here. It's like 18 possibly, out of 32, 14 out of 46. So I love that. I love that they put that in there because there is the possibility, and it's even down here, contract notes, that he could get per game bonus, per game active bonus of $58,000, $1 million, 8 LTB in 2022. So again, he could make money if he is active on the roster. But if he gets injured, then all of a sudden he can't make that $1 million per game bonus. So I absolutely love that with his contract. It's gonna, like, he takes the hit, right? This is what everyone was expecting him to get next year, around $20 million. Then it goes back down to $6 million of a dead cap of 16 of 7. So again, even in this scenario, if he's like, look, it was a good run, but I think I'm gonna retire here or whatever, Dolphins still save about $11 million here. This is where they save the most, though, in about 12. But it's 3 years. Again, you see 5 years, $75 million. People think, wow, you take 5 divided by 75, it's $15 million a year. No, it's a 3-year contract. Because after this, you can get rid of them. After 2024, you can get rid of them. You save $12 million, $12.1 million. You save after 2024. It's a 3-year contract, and again, 43.3 guaranteed. A lot of that is in the first 3 years. A lot of that is in the first 3 years. It's a very good contract, and it's worded very well because of his injury histories. The most games he played, I think, were 14, give or take. Very, very good. And if you look at, average, he's making more than he did with his last contract he signed. He was averaging about $12 million. But I don't think I can look at that one now. Again, the average is 5 years, and then they divided it by 65 divided by 5, and they got 13. But I bet you he wasn't making $13 million a year. He's getting the contract he deserves, but also there are wording in there to back the Dolphins. So I do like this contract. But again, you look at the Dolphins, and everyone's pretty much signed. I don't know why they need to make this button the update button. Very confusing, Spot Track. But yeah, right now the biggest hit is Xavier Howard. I wonder if they could, they're working on his contract. I know that. So you kind of like do one of these, and that helps the Dolphins out, save about $7 million. And then I don't know, what that would do. And again, if we get rid of or release the players that I think probably are the odd men out, like Stan Carter, Adam Shaheen, and Greg Little, all of a sudden we save $13 million. So we'd be at about $24 million in cap space, and then I have no idea where we'd be at next year. It's gonna, again, take the cap space with what it is. Right, don't freak out over me showing you 2023's cap space and we're in the negative. Don't worry about that too much, because you saw what the Saints did with a lot of rosters to signing bonuses, and we're able to free up about like $40 million in cap space. Don't freak out about the cap space. The Dolphins are loading this team up with a ton of players, a ton of talent. Tyreek Hill and Terron Armstead, bringing back Gesicki, Agba, Wilson. They did a fantastic job this offseason. Now they just got to put it together, get on the field, and show us what they got. But that's what I got for you today. Again, give you a little update on the new postseason overtime rules. We'll see how that pans out. I still think if the defense can't make a stop, it doesn't really matter. Again, you take the Chiefs-Bills situation. Neither defense was able to make a stop. So coin toss was very pivotal in winning that game, even in this new overtime rule, because the Chiefs would march down the field, score a touchdown. The Bills would march down the field, score a touchdown. Then the Chiefs would march down the field, score a touchdown, win the game. You're just wasting more time. So we'll see how that pans out. And then I finally got to see Terron Armstead's contract, which is worded perfectly with the game bonuses. So more incentive for him to stay healthy, but we'll see if he does that. But on that, guys, I will see you in the next one. Again, I have a lot of videos that I'm working on. I'm planning out, doing the top 5 prospects of each position. So much going on. Well, on that, guys, like usual, stay classy. And fins up.